save all that money that you're spending trying to control the processes. Hold people responsible, hold them accountable to those key end results. That's, to me, is the key to this whole operational area. Now, the other thing that makes operational kinds of issues work properly is now you're executing the plan, and because everybody was involved in it, they are excited about executing the plan. If you don't have them involved in all the steps we've talked about, and then you lay this out on the table, call your group together, as happens so often, here's our plan, here's what you've got to do, here's your budget, go do it, then you've got half-hearted people looking around for other jobs and they're not excited. This is the boss's plan. This is the consultant's plan. You want it to be everybody's plan, and I'll guarantee you, boom, you've got that thing executed quicker than you'd ever believe. That's, to me, is the key to an operational plan. Next in the book, I talk about this all-important area of appraisals and rewards. So many times this is left out of the strategic thinking of an organization. Now, what I'm proposing here is a reward system, both a short and long-term reward system. I've got 5 different companies and organizations on a performance appraisal and reward system that's outlined strictly from the book. And I want to cover those just in detail, a little bit of detail with you. The theory behind this is that organizational objectives have got to be achieved and individual objectives have to be achieved. Think about a sports team. How are sports teams rewarded? Well, you're rewarded if you go to the Super Bowl or the World Series. I've got what I call my reward opportunities. So a person's reward system is based on, well, how did the team do? I want to be a team player. But it's also based on how did I do as a particular individual. So if we go to the World Series, I bat .330, have a great year, then I should have high pay and high bonus. If the team finished in last place and I didn't do anything, then it's low pay and low bonus. But what you're doing is looking at the 4 different possibilities based on how you did and how the organization did. Another thing that I've come up with and is working very well in quite a number of organizations is what I call a MBO performance appraisal form. Here's where you take the negotiated, specific, agreed upon objectives and you agree on what they are in a concept I call care and feeding of the boss, and I've also got a discussion in the reading section on that, care and feeding of the boss and care and feeding of the employee. If you want to care and feed your boss, you agree on what you're going to accomplish. If you're a boss and you want to care and feed the person working for you, let's agree on what's to be accomplished. Now, the whole idea of that performance appraisal system is for the 2 of you then to sit down and to agree on how you succeeded on doing what you agreed to do. Then I usually recommend having 10 effective, non-measurable areas, things that are important to the job, and rank yourself on how you're doing in each of those areas. So that could be in the area of like developing people, contribution to morale, communication, and creativity. You can use a numerical system then to come up with an index. So for example, on a scale of 1 to 5, my index might be a 4.425. Now we've agreed in a performance appraisal setting that this is what I should accomplish. Then that index number goes into a recommended pay area. Now there's controls. If you haven't made any money in your company, I could still be in a performance level, performance category 5. But if you're executive committee, and I'm on the executive committee of a major company, and 1 year we didn't really make any profit, so in the recommended pay area we had agreed that, well, we just can't give pay increases this year. Now, on the years that you can, it helps you determine how much money goes to people in the different categories. Here's a way of tying the long-term strategic direction of the company. Here's a way of tying my individual performance right back to the performance of the company. In a profit-making area, you can come up with a bonus system. Now, basically, the simplified bonus system that I talk about says that you've got to meet a minimum profit level. Once you've reached that minimum profit level, then what you do is divide each extra dollar among the corporation and the employees. So for example, you'd say for every dollar over a 15% after-tax profit, for every dollar, say 20% goes into a profit pool. We've done this in quite a number of corporations, and it really helps people get motivated in terms of achieving overall corporate objectives. Then you divide that 20% up equally among everybody in the organization. You've got to have a bonus system. Now, let's think about appraisals now in terms of, is the ship staying on course? I recommend 4 times a year you come back and appraise overall organizational performance. You take a look at your top executives, you have them discuss, and you've got the information right on one sheet of paper. Are we on target? How are we doing in terms of meeting these top corporate objectives? You've also then given each individual 4 times a year an opportunity to say, here are my key objectives, how am I doing, am I on target? The whole thing is managed in a very positive, here's my direction, here's how I'm doing, and then let's have some corrective action if we need it. Now that's basically how this entire performance appraisal system needs to operate. It needs to be keyed on where we at, where we going, am I on target, and do I get a reward if we succeed? What doesn't make sense to me is to see so much talent in an organization be diffused and go off to some other company or organization because there's no way of being rewarded successfully. You want to keep your key people in your organization. If you get committed to a strategic planning process, and if you'll manage strategically, your organization can be successful. It's important that every management, every leader in every organization take control of his or her organization. And the best way I know of taking control is to develop a strategic plan, is to manage strategically, to recognize the strength of your people, to gather ideas, to make people feel good about working for your organization. If I'm working for you and I meet my higher level needs of recognition, self-esteem, self-actualization, if you make me feel good about working for you, if you'll reward me when I succeed, if you'll coach me when I'm not doing well, I'm going to be a valuable employee that's going to stay with you and help you succeed over the long term. And isn't that really what we're talking about? Shouldn't an organization succeed over the long run? Shouldn't it pay taxes? Shouldn't it be an ethical member of the society in which it operates? Shouldn't it pay its suppliers on time? What we're trying to do is create a free enterprise system in this country that is based on success, that's based on good, solid thinking. We want to succeed over the long term. Every time a company succeeds, everybody involved in that company succeeds. Every time a check is cashed out of a major organization, that's creating a ripple effect that's supporting other businesses. It's our moral and ethical responsibility as leaders in our organizations to make sure they succeed. There's a smart, good, effective way of succeeding. And that's what we've tried to share with you in this strategic planning and management program. Thank you.